Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Leadership newspaper. The major story here says 78 days to go. Military will resist pressure to scuttle 2023 election, says DHQ. That's the Defense Headquarters. Saboteurs barred eggs to face firing squad. Atiku urges politicians to focus on voters, not pressure military. Army refutes report of troops aborting pregnancies in the northeast. All the details on the front page of the Leadership newspaper. And to the front page of the Blueprint now, security agencies won't succumb to pressure to compromise 2023 polls. Irabo. Security agencies won't succumb to pressure to compromise 2023 polls. Irabo, that's the Chief of Defense Staff, Lucky Irabo, speaking. He says saboteurs in armed forces risk stiffer penalties, insist insurgency banditry significantly degraded. All the details on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. All right, to the Guardian newspaper now, still talking about the same story. We won't compromise 2023 despite pressure, says Irabo. We won't compromise 2023 despite pressure, says Irabo. All the details on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. And away from that story that's talking about the 2023 elections to talking about the cashless policy now on the front page of the Daily Times. Cashless policy, no going back on bank withdrawal limits. Emefiele says CBN to slightly review amounts. HOR summons Emefiele wants CBN to suspend policy. All right. House of Reps summons Emefiele wants CBN to suspend policy. All the details on the front page of the Daily Times. To the Punch newspaper. Cash withdrawal, Emefiele insists on limits, reps demand suspension. The Punch newspaper, cash withdrawal, Emefiele insists on limits, reps demand suspension. All the details on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Kemi.
Right, and The Nation is also bringing up a similar lead story, talking about the lingering controversy on Nigeria's latest cash withdrawal policy. Well, as we pointed out during the onset of the show this morning, Emefiele is quoted, as the central bank governor, is quoted as saying a review of this latest cash withdrawal policy is likely. For First News, still on the withdrawal limits announced by the Central Bank of Nigeria with the National Assembly, the Central Bank of Nigeria's governor set to be set for showdown. And this Nigeria is also leading with a latest on the new cash policy, saying that House of Representative members order CBN to halt exercise. It's a different twist for News Direct, saying following the DSS's, that's the Department of State Security Service, who issued a 48-hour ultimatum. Well, following that announcement, NNPC releases 1.9 billion liters of petrol, this amidst the lingering fuel scarcity in Nigeria. And that's also the lead story on the front page of Daily Trust. DSS gives NNPC marketers as well 48 hours to end fuel scarcity, vows to deal with economic saboteurs. NNPC set to have 1.9 billion liters in stock and marketers to get product at ex-depot price. That's on Daily Trust. Nature News, of course, an eye on the environment. It says this morning that Nigeria needs 5.5 gigawatts of solar capacity to accelerate energy transition plan. That's according to Nigeria's Vice President, Oshibajo. This on the front page of Nature News. Finally is Business Day. Interesting little story there. It says, Dubai luxury stores miss Nigerians for festive sales. Dubai luxury stores miss Nigerians for festive sales.
Interesting, the one there.
Right.
All right, but let's quickly touch on this matter of the DSS giving the NNPC ultimatum, 48-hour ultimatum to end fuel scarcity. I'm sure that will be music to the ears of a majority of Nigerians who have had to, spend long hours on the queues to get the product at an exorbitant price. Let's not even get there. But it is interesting to see that the DSS has to come to, intervene again. This is like the third time that the DSS, according to reports, is intervening with regards to the matter of ending fuel scarcity. In 2015, under Ibe Kachukwu, reports say that the DSS had to come out again to intervene at some point. That was in November. And the same 2015 in March, the DSS had to come out to intervene again with regards to this matter of ending fuel scarcity and also looking at the prices as well. And if there is product, because initially it was reported that the NNPC did not have enough product, and that is why marketers had to resort to buying from private depot owners, and they were buying at exorbitant prices. So with this intervention, I'm hoping to see some level of difference with regards to the long queues, because I still saw queues this morning coming to the office. Sure. And I'm hoping that something is done as quickly as possible. Especially in this election year, because the previous times, interesting that the DSS will be coming out at this time, but when you look at the capacity or the tendency for occurrences like this, they don't help us in any way. Violence can erupt, and at any point. That's the angle that the DSS is coming into. The fact that, of course, people are also hoarding. You'll see some fuel stations under lock and key. There are allegations that they have the product and they are, keeping them until a later time where they will now, wreak more havoc on Nigeria's psyche. Having to queue long hours, waste hours, where I could have been, more functional to have to, buy fuel. So they say, in addition to the ultimatum, that they will also be going to all fuel stations, especially those that are locked, to see whether you have, this fuel and you refuse to sell, and then they would, take it further. I think this, like you said, is a very welcome development, and interesting that NNPC is saying that it has sufficient fuel for everyone. And a lot of Nigerians have been waiting for the NNPC, any representative from them to speak with regards to this matter, because it seemed they were silent for a long time. And it's interesting to hear that they are saying that they have enough product, yet a lot of Nigerians for 3 weeks went through this pain, and it is at this point you're beginning to say that you have product. It's not really nice, if I may put it that way. This latest episode of Fuel Scarcity, we also had the NNPC saying on record, interesting, because I remember we discussed it on Journalist Hangout, and it was such a very laughable excuse for NNPC to say that Apapa Depot or Apapa ports now, there are so many gridlock in for them, all the trucks to come out from the ongoing rehabilitation work along that axis is responsible for the fuel scarcity. And for 3 weeks. And many Nigerians were asking, it didn't just happen. The work ongoing there is not just happening. So how can that suddenly now be an excuse for, an issue of this magnitude? And it's not just Lagos. We all know how Lagos is very strategic now. Several other cities. We are even seeing it in Lagos. I hear it's worse, outside Lagos. Up north. Up north, and even in the southwest, Ibadan, you need to hear how much they're buying this per liter. That's even when you see it. So we are all hoping for not just a quick fix, a very decisive end to this issue, because we've said it on and on again. This is the last thing we should be bothered about because we know how it grounds the economic activity, how a lot of Nigerians have to go through the pains, especially when you have issues of electricity challenge, and then the option you have is not readily available to you with regards to buying fuel for your generating set and all of that, and then you see there's a hiking price of goods and services because there is no fuel. Everything, it affects the price of everything, and then the exorbitant prices at which a lot of Nigerians have to buy this product. It's just not palatable at all.
How sustainable is this is another issue too, because the marketers are giving us, their own side of the story.
Yes, they have their own side of the story.
They cannot sell less than 200, 220.
Which is something the
because
government
of
have
how
to
much
resolve.
they buy it from
lifting
source.
the product.
Absolutely, lifting and all the other
it's quite
charges
expensive for
involved,
them, and so they cannot sell at the price the government wants them to sell, and so it's of no benefit to them. So they're also talking about that. But I want us to quickly touch another issue, which is of interest to a lot of Nigerians as well. Talking about the election, where the Chief of Defense Staff, Lucky Rabo, has come out to say that they are under pressure to, compromise the election, 2023 election, that their members have been facing inducement from persons who are coming to say compromise the election, the 2023 election, and all of it, but that they are assuring Nigerians that they will not give themselves to that. And anyone who is found culpable will face the music.
Well, this is not the first time as well that we'll be having this kind of, narratives, especially at the peak of an election year. So, and well, it's in order that the military's top hierarchy would be saying this. And another portion of this latest announcement is that they are mindful that there may be saboteurs from within the military, not just from politicians. And they say, like you said, face the music. And he's saying that they might even go as far as, handing down capital punishment executions on them if they need warrants. But at the moment, some of them are being tried for minor offenses, but still around the issue of saboteurs. We cannot say it enough. The role of security is paramount. For elections, people have to feel safe to come out. It won't make sense with all these preparations if we don't have people coming out on account of them being afraid. And the time when DSS even had to come to intervene was because people were not coming out, were trying to stockpile on fuel. That was what caused fuel scarcity in 2015, another election year. So this thing is such a hydra-headed issue, and all hands need to be on deck. It's not enough for you to say you will be a political. We also want to see you doing your job professionally.
Sure, that you're being apolitical.
Absolutely. INEC, security agencies, of course, police, and, every other stakeholders. We hope that this time around we get it right on all scores, and we can truly pride ourselves that we have delivered credible elections.
And a transparent process, electoral process at the end of the day. And I hope that this assurance, because gives Nigerians some level of encouragement and courage, confidence in the system, because you recall that on the news, we're talking about the number of persons that haven't collected their PVCs, about 9,000 of them, or over 9,000 of them, in Lagos. And it's quite concerning that these persons are not going out to collect their PVCs, despite all of the assurances coming from INEC, coming from the DSS, security operatives, saying that we will ensure there is a secured, transparent process. Please go out, collect your PVCs. It is important. You do not just sit behind your seats at home and your phone. You can make all the noise online, but then if you want a transparent process, you have to be a part of it, as it is. So you need to collect your PVCs. It is important. Go collect your PVCs.
I think another window is going to open in a few days' time now. There are those who didn't collect at the last election, and now the registration that occurred for about 6 months this year, between January to July. So another batch of PVCs are going to be released, and INEC is also encouraging that people, women, the youth,
everyone should come out.
Indeed.